In this short tutorial I will explain how to work with text line objects in Aletheia. I'm using the term text line objects here because on top of the actual textual data, the object also has a position on the page, a polygonal outline, and various attributes such as language and text style. I will stick with the All Features toolbar layout, and I will cover most of the features in the Text Lines tab. By the way, if you haven't noticed yet, some of the buttons have little blue icons in the bottom left corner. This is actually the keyboard shortcut for the tool. The most important bit of information is how to create text line objects, of course. There are many different ways, even more than for regions. I would like to start with what we call the top-down approach. Top-down because you start at a higher level, regions namely, and segment them into text lines. So what we need first are a couple of regions. By default you see the regions as black outlines when you are working on text lines. If you have a region with only one text line, as this heading here, all you have to do is to create a text line object that covers the whole region. That's what the initial line tool does. You need to activate it first and then click on a region. And there's your text line. A bit more interesting is what you do with a region that has multiple lines. For this, Aletheia offers these two split tools. Before I show how to use them, I should mention that you will need a bitonal black and white image, otherwise the buttons will be disabled. It is also better to switch to the black and white image now to explain the subtleties of the two approaches to split. In most cases you will be able to use the first one. Just activate it and you will see a horizontal line where you point with the mouse. Just position the cursor over the gap between two text lines and click. As you can see, you end up with two objects. If you have no text line object yet, Aletheia will actually create one first and then split it at the line. For this tool it doesn't matter if the split line touches or crosses some parts of the characters. Aletheia tries to split in a smart way so that the outlines of the text line objects don't cut through your characters. Now, a horizontal split line is not always ideal, especially if you have some skew or warping. Then you can manually draw a line as detailed as you need. Just start slightly outside and add points by clicking. Stop slightly outside again and right click to finish. Pay attention to eye dots and diacritics. It's easy for them to end up in the wrong text line object by accident. In such a case you can always use the undo, of course. Because this tool tries to go around characters, we added a second tool which ruthlessly cuts through. You will need it in cases where characters of two text lines are touching each other vertically due to bad image quality or layout characteristics. I've got an example here at the bottom of this region. Let me show you first what happens with the normal split tool. I'm using the cutting tool now. You need to be a bit more careful now because it will cut through anything, so avoid touching characters when you draw the split line. And there you go. Then of course you also have all the manual tools you might already know from creating regions. Let me create a rectangular text line for the page number. Some of you might have cried out in surprise because I didn't create a parent region first. Well, as you can see, it's perfectly possible. Let me show you what happened. In this dialog you can see all the layout objects and their relations. The text lines I created first have a normal parent text region. The page number was assigned to something called temporary region. This is a hidden region that is used to accommodate all text lines that have no parent yet. You can still save this page layout and you won't lose any data, but we encourage to create complete hierarchies of text objects from the highest level, regions, down to the level you need, text lines in our case. There are two ways to fix this. You can create a region around the page number, but unfortunately Aletheia doesn't automatically assign the text line to your region. You will have to use the reassign tool, select the page number text line and click reassign. The pop-up message will show you if it worked. But there's another and slightly easier way. Let me undo first. Now select the text line again and use the Create Region tool. You are given a couple of options. I will just use the default. And there's the region. This is what we call the bottom-up approach, from low-level to high-level objects. You can also check the relation between text line and parent region using the highlight feature. Before you invest a lot of time in creating text line objects manually, I suggest you try the automated text line detection first. Let me delete the lines of the paragraph here. By the way, you can use the Select Similar tool to select all text lines of one region. The Detect Lines creates empty text line objects, so it does not recognize the text content. Please also keep in mind that this will not always be perfect, and it is good practice to check the result line by line. Just select the first line and use the page down key. If there are many mistakes, it might be faster to redo the text lines manually, but in this case I could quickly correct the result with the Edit tool. If you need the text content as well, you can use the OCR text line tool, but be warned, this is limited to single text lines at the moment. There's a way though to get text line objects complete with text content, and this is the Analyze Region here. Activate it and click on a region. You can select the language, Polish in our case, and if you want you can get word and glyph objects as well. You have the text now, but the outlines don't look great. You might get better results if you choose words or glyphs and activate the Improve Polygons option. By the way, you don't have to delete the old text lines before. Aletheia does it for you if the box down here is ticked. Most of the other features are similar to what I've shown for regions in the previous tutorial. There's the text overlay and attributes and all the assistive tools for creating and correcting text line objects. There's one last thing I would like to show which is unique to text lines, and that is baselines. If you go to the Experimental Toolbar tab, you will find a baseline detection. This will try to find the baselines for all your text line objects. As you might have guessed from the name of the toolbar, this is just a prototype method and will not always work perfectly. The baselines should follow the base of the characters, excluding descenders. You can create and edit the baselines with this tool here. You can add and delete points, but you cannot move existing points. When you position the mouse cursor close to an existing baseline, you will see a preview of how the line would look when you add a new point. Then just click to add the point. Deleting points is just as simple, just click on it. You can also delete the whole baseline by selecting one-on-one text line objects and pressing the delete tool here. To create a baseline, just add points. If you have a black and white image, Aletheia will assist you by snapping the cursor to the bottom of a character. You can disable this by pressing the Ctrl key. And finally, you can show or hide the baselines using the tick box in the baseline panel. This is it. Thank you for watching. Have a look at our website as well if you're interested in document analysis.